Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Strange Times Poetry Broadcast, coming to you live from the Poetry Bookshelf. I'm so glad that you could join me. For those of you who are new, I'm going to be reading three uplifting poems, one by a famous writer, one by a friend, and one by myself. If you'd like to see more of these episodes, we air daily at 8 p.m. Eastern live. But also, please like the Strange Times Poetry Broadcast Facebook page. And great news, I finally got up the archive of videos on YouTube. So if that's an easier way to watch and just you want to go through some of the old episodes, check that out. All right. So today I'm going to be talking about arming and disarming. Um, we're in a difficult time, and I often think back to something that I learned about, using femininity as armor, and the idea that women would often, sort of historically, would use jewelry as both sort of feminine, an expression of femme beauty, but also as a type of armor because, if hard times came along, if something went wrong, you could always sell that jewelry and it was like kind of like a bank, a backup in case of a really difficult time that you would have this jewelry and it could protect you. um, and in this difficult time, I think I've been thinking about, how has this difficult circumstance made me put up my armor. Sometimes armor is good, it's protective, it keeps you safe, but also it can block vulnerability and connection as well. And just like the jewelry, sometimes armor, can be something that's gentle and beautiful, um, and also protective. And how do you navigate all of those things? Um, and how can armor, you know, potentially be used to open you up, to find a safe way to exist in this space? Um, so, the first poem that I'm going to read is by Dorianne Laux. It's from What We Carry, which was published by Boa Editions, and you should definitely get the book directly from their press. Um, I love Dorianne Laux. I have many of her books. She just has a way of really writing these embodied, intense poems, but about just everyday life in a lovely way. Um, so the poem that I'm going to read is called Kissing. They are kissing on a park bench, on the edge of an old bed, in a doorway, or on the floor of a church. Kissing as the streets fill with balloons or soldiers, locusts or confetti, water or fire or dust. Kissing down through the centuries under sun or stars, a dead tree, an umbrella, amid derelicts. Kissing as Christ carries his cross, as Gandhi sings his speeches, as a bullet careens through the air toward a child's good heart. They are kissing. Long, deep, spacious kisses, exploring the silence of the tongue, the mute rungs of the upper palate, hungry for the living flesh. They are still kissing when the cars crash and the bombs drop, when the babies are born crying into the white air, when Mozart bends to his bowl of soup and Stalin bends to his garden. They are kissing to begin the world again. Nothing can stop them. They kiss until their lips swell, their thick tongues quickening to the budded touch, licking up the sweet juices. I want to believe they are kissing to save the world, but they're not. All they know is this press and need, these two-legged beasts, their face like roses crushed together and opening. They are covering their teeth. They are doing what they have to do to survive the worst. They are sealing the hard words in. They are dying for our sins. In a broken world, they are practicing this simple and singular act to perfection. They are holding on to each other. They are kissing. So, a couple moments that stand out to me from this poem. I love this line: I want to believe they are kissing to save the world, but they're not. So, the kissing is in its own way, it's using connection as a way to get through a difficult time. And it's both an armor because it's almost like a fight. in a broken world, they're practicing this simple and singular act to perfection. It's their armor, their protection against the broken world. But at the same time, it's also this act of connection that is completely separate from everything that's going on. They're just doing what they have to do. They're just these two-legged beasts, their faces like roses crushed together. You know, it's sort of this combination of in spite of, but also just opening to each other. All right. My next poem is by Molly Best Rector. It's called Retail Therapy, and this originally appeared in the Cincinnati Review. I know Molly from an amazing workshop that we did with Henri Cole at Skidmore, and one thing that's amazing about Molly is that she has started a reading series and, poetry community in Fayetteville, Arkansas, called the Open Mouth Poetry Series. I put all the information in the description. And she brings in authors to Arkansas and also organizes workshops there. And it's really amazing. In this poem, we have this similar, how clothing, kind of similar to the jewelry, can both become the armor but also a way to envision the future, to dress beyond ourselves and to open ourselves to possibility. Retail therapy. Rainy weather and everyone with a lover stays inside. Not us lonely girls. We go shopping. It's true. We're always seeking some sunnier past, and shop windows have a glitter that pays tribute to the splendid summer lakes whose still and brilliant surfaces we in youth would split with arc of a bikini peeling dive. How, like the stillness and shine, we interrupt to pull the door and submerge ourselves in a garden of aluminum racks bearing brightly their kaleidoscope of wearable blooms. We can't help but want to pluck. Oh, to stand before a mirror in a sundress, to drape ourselves in orange peonies, a backdrop of cream. Oh, to dress beyond ourselves, to spy in the looking glass a vision of the future. Rosé on a rooftop, late May, kissing weather, or quilt on a park lawn. Who could be lonely then? We don't really have the money, but we buy the dress. Commerce is a kind of contact. The girl at the register sees what we do. I love that piece. You could wear it to a party. It looks so good on. Commerce is a kind of contact. I love the epiphany of that poem. Um, and yeah, the combination of, sort of the attempts to reach out and how that's buried in shopping and whether that's successful or not, but then also that moment of spying in the looking glass, a vision of the future, and that sort of opening yourself to that opportunity. All right. The last poem that I'm going to read is called Bendito, which means blessing or bless. And so this poem came out of another Peace Corps experience. Join the Peace Corps. And it was about, so in Paraguay, I was not able to be out until I developed really strong relationships with people, just because it was not something that was accepted in the small rural community where I was living. And there was a constant fear, both, personally, but also sort of in the way that the Peace Corps, portrayed the situation, that if that sort of differentness and that strangeness to my, co collaborators, counterparts who were Paraguayan, would really get in the way of us being able to work together, of me being able to live there. And while I could share, my ideology and my personality, I couldn't really provide labels to it. And that situation was very difficult because it kind of set up this constant fear of being found out, of being clocked. And so I was still trying to connect with people and to be myself. And so it was both this, fear and sort of putting up boundaries and barriers to stay safe, to be able to do what I wanted to do, the job I wanted to do there, but also at the same time to be vulnerable. And the way that this poem sort of works is the armor and the disarming is through blessing those difficult things. Um, so another another way that we can, disarm in this time, is blessing and opening our hearts to the things that we do have in moments throughout the day, at least a little bit of a dose of blessing. Bendito, Festival of St. Peter, Paraguay. Oh, one more thing. So, in this Festival of St. Peter, the custom was that it was sort of the celebration of the winter solstice. People would dress up in masks and cross dress and play soccer with burning rags that were made into balls that were set on fire. So they were like playing fire soccer, like in masks. It was a whole scene. You should definitely look it up. The Festival of St. Peter or of Saint John, around June 24th. All right. Bendito. Bendito, the silver mask cut from a wine box, the night in its eyes. Bendito, the boys in their sisters' dresses. Bendito, soccer and singed calico. When you play for St. Peter, the ball is a flame that washes not just the feet, but the hands, the head. Bendito, my neighbors' sweet screams, chased down by their sons. The foul ball snared by the bare branch plum like a coal in the prophet's mouth. Bendito Benito, who sold my squash for booze, his high heels swaying in the red dirt, too drunk to care its daylight. Bendito, what everyone knows but never would say. Bendito the Kanye, the sugar-throated burn, so much Kanye. That's a type of alcohol. Bendito the body, trust feet first, charge like a fly from your first home into the blue below, the Milky Way swarming from cobbled rooftops. Bendito the locked door, oh locked door, how we know each other in my lying. The stone saint where my tongue should be. Tonight, two men behind it, naked, legs cross-stitched in fire. Bendito the wood bull, the lit horns. The men whose bull gallops across my gate. You're not afraid, right? Bendito the fear. Bendito the questions they ask me at each house. Are you happy? Do you eat meat? Do you cross yourself during storms? I eat the crackers they say are bones. I say yes, yes, every time. Bendito the singed leg hair, the ash-dipped fingers. Bendito the rumor I wear home. Bendito the hymns I couldn't write. Better to laugh. Better to splash through 3 streams and plant squash again. Anything better than loving women. Bendito the fire they throw at me. Always, it seems, me. Bendito the light that tears me open. I hope that we are all finding our armor that keeps us safe, but also those moments where we're able to be open, to disarm, to find safety in this time. I'm thinking of you all. Stay safe, stay sane, and good night. Bye!